Good
How are
morning.
you? How you
Uh,
doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Come along. Tomorrow's a big day. Yep. Whoa, that light
Nurturers Day.
Got four-legged creatures.
We are pet mamas.
That's right.
Our furry little babies. Good morning online. Good to be with you. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. Good to be reminded. Then I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks, thank you God, for all my blessings. God gives me everything. If you can sing along if you want. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. Love is my source. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. Just feel that. Oh, so I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy, don't sit down. Dance with us, baby. Come on now. It's Saturday night somewhere. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks. Reverend Susan's in the house. Love gives me everything. Joy is my source. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Sue, don't sit down. Joy gives me everything. Janet, don't sit down. Come on now. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me joy. Yeah, everything I need. Joy. Joy gives me everything. Joy gives my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. Hold my hand. So I give, hold my hand. For all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. One more time. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything. Thank you, I need. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, give it up for yourselves. There is a space in my heart where I can find the truth. I find me in you. Thank you, media team. A truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who, what you call yourself, or where you come from, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace. let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Say it with me. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow it unfold, embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Join in. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that surrounds you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jean Bell, and I so humbly serve as a licensed minister here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that educates and engages the seeker on their spiritual path. As a member of the global movement, Centers for Spiritual Living, our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. Whether you're here for the first time, you're watching at home, you are a member. SLCA is where you belong. We are grateful for your presence this morning.
A grateful and glorious good morning to you. That was anemic again. A grateful and glorious good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. I'm Susan Zoller. I'm a member of the ministerial team here today and your esteemed speaker. As my teacher Ken Schultz said, when it's over, I'm speaking to anybody who's still speaking to me. So let's start with our Sunday affirmation. Let's go. Here we go. I'll say it first, and then would you join with me? I am a child of the Most High, and I was and am designed for success. I lift my mind to the place in consciousness where the facts of this world are created. Facts do not determine the quality of my life. I lift my vision and elevate the circumstances of my life. Feelings of fear dissolve and evolve into faith. Faith ever strengthened by my experience of the divine. Would you join me? I am a child of the Most High, and I was and am designed for success. I lift my mind to the place in consciousness where the facts of this world are made, to not determine the quality of my life. I lift my view and elevate the circumstances of my life. Feelings of fear dissolve and evolve into faith. Faith ever strengthened by my experience of the divine. Thank you.
Connect, grow, serve, and give. Living life where you belong. Connect, grow, serve, and give. Loving everyone. You belong.
Oh, thanks, Penelope. Hello, I'm Mally Lapete, and I gladly serve on the Creative Arts team at SLCA. Good morning. It's so good to see everyone. Oh, I love you all. Let's take a moment to recognize our SLCA youth, both attending in person and watching online. As Nelson Mandela said, the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Before we our youth are back in their hole, but we'd like to acknowledge them. So read along. Oh, wow. Wow. Now they should have brushed that out a little bit. Where's my announcements, Shannon, for the recognition of the youth? It should be coming up. Okay. Much better. All right, say along with me, would you? And let's acknowledge our youth. We see and hear you. We bless and love you. We thank Spirit for you. You belong. And so it is. I'm excited to tell you about opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at our center. For more information about today's announcements, please take a moment to scan the QR code found on the back of the seat in front of you or on the monitor displayed in your home if you're viewing from home. You may also visit our website at slca.com. As we continue to offer more weekly opportunities, we have changed our weekly newsletter arrival in the email to each Monday now. Not Friday, Monday. If you're currently not on our mailing list and wish to be, please contact us and we will be happy to add you. It's that simple. Have you experienced Tai Chi with Baji Daniels? This is a wonderful way to reduce stress, connect with others from an amazing instructor. Beginners are welcome. We will meet at 1 p.m. on May 22nd, Sunday. Breeze registration is requested. Join us next Sunday when our special guest will be John Stringer. John will also be offering a one-on-one personal guidance session with a special discount to SLCA members. So register today to reserve your spot, and we will also have flyers available after service in the lobby. A few more, hang in there. Is meditation a part of your spiritual practice? Yeah? Grow with Reverend Ursula Lentine every Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here in person at SLCA or via Zoom. If you missed last week's Lunch and Learn Living Mental Wellness with Scheherazade, we have great news. It's not too late to join in this week. Register for the Zoom link. Did you know that there are many ways you can serve at SLCA? We need your help, as we have brought back many of services that we had before COVID. Take a look at the monitors for some of the opportunities available, or speak with one of us after the service today. I hope to see you and speak with you. Join our outreach ministry on Saturday, May 21st at 1 p.m. at SLCA as we deliver important items to our unhoused neighbors. We'd like to thank all our loyal pledgers and each of you that faithfully give to SLCA. To find ways to connect, grow, serve, and give, visit our digital program or our information wall in the lobby, our pretty lobby. Practitioners are available this morning after the service on either side of the sanctuary. And you can also contact them online to set up a meeting time through email with them. For in-person treatment, our practitioners will be on either side after the service. Thank you for joining us this morning. Y'all have a good day.
All right, this is our time for affirmative prayer. So, would you join me? Take a deep breath. Let us relax. Close your eyes if you like. And as I speak these words in the first person, I invite you to accept whatever resonates with you. For this is what I know. There is truly one divine, loving source that lives, moves, and has its being in all of creation. I truly know that the manifest universe is indeed the body of God. This one mind, this one life, this one love. I know that I am a part of it. Every aspect of my being is infused with spiritual DNA. And I know this to be true for everyone in the sound of my voice. God the good. So therefore I know and I declare right here and right now a greater expression of all of Spirit's divine attributes. A greater expression of its peace, its love, its joy, its unfailing abundance, its wisdom, its eternal loving kindness and givingness. I know that every community member is filled with this power and its presence. It's filled with its love. I know that the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta is blessed, and that everyone that enters its thresholds are welcome because they belong. They belong to the divine I am. And that's what we do here. We welcome the seeker on their spiritual journey. And so with a heart filled with gratitude to this power that hears me and hears me always, I simply release it into the universal law. This one mind, which receives the direct impress of my thoughts and always acts upon it. And I invite you in joining me in sealing this affirmation by saying, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Through me.
Is it my turn?
No, this is for you, Reverend Susan. Come on now. Isn't she lovely? Truly the angels best. I never thought for love we'd be. Making love is what I see. Isn't she lovely? Made found love. Kennedy would be rolling right now, wouldn't he? We had to. We thought about that. I'm sorry there's a glitch in it coming up to it. But we love you so much, Reverend Susan. Welcome. Welcome home, baby.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to announce that in 6 days, I am turning 69 years old. And in 8 days, I'm getting a brand new knee, so god dang, I'm lovely. So if I sit down for a minute, y'all understand. I'm still as powerful as ever, and so are you. Thank you, Penelope. Thank y'all. Now, in the 1950s, the most commonly built house plan was the ranch house. You've probably seen tons of them out, and the layout is predictable. You go in through the side. Of course, there's a front entrance, but only for, special guests. You came into a kitchen. There may be a den there. The front was the living room. Then there was a hallway that went down to the other end of the house because they went sideways, not backwards. And there was the bedrooms and a bathroom or bathrooms, if you were lucky enough to have a master bedroom with a bath. Now, home air conditioning was indeed rare at that time. And no matter the heat or humidity, and I grew up right outside of Baton Rouge, and let me tell you, we were doubly blessed with heat and humidity. There's an abundance of a lot of things down there, but we'll just talk about the heat and humidity. And at night, it could even be hard to sleep because of the heat. Now, my house was special because my daddy put an air conditioning unit in his bedroom because he worked at the chemical plant on shift, and it enabled him to sleep at the odd hours that he had to do with his constantly changing schedule. And we also had one in the kitchen. That was really special. And what happened was my dad, there was a door into our den, and he put one of those louvered folding doors in from the kitchen into the hallway. It was secure and it kept air in. It was real nice. We just loved being in the kitchen. It was so cool and refreshing, yes, because the rest of the house was closed off from it, but the rest of the house was another story. It was hot, and quite frequently it was dark, and it was not someplace I really wanted to be. There was little breeze, and there was little sound. And this is also at a time when movie theaters showed one film at a time, and they had to distinguish themselves from all the others, so you'd come to them by these advertisements. And they did indeed advertise. I was about 8 years old at the time, and there was an advertisement that made a huge, huge imprint on me. And, it was a very high-tech commercial for the time, which means not at all today. But while I never saw this film, the advertisement impressed me so much that I know it to this day. There was a phosphorescent, yellow-greenish, sickened-looking little skeleton that came out with at us. And, of course, people were running, screaming in either direction to get away from it, knowing that it was going to kill us, probably eat us, whatever else. They were running for their lives. Now, today, this film would be laughable, but to me, it was anything but, let me tell you. So one particular late afternoon, as it was beginning to get dark in the, early evening, my mother told me to go back to my sister's room and get something out of her closet. I don't know what it was. I thought it was totally irrelevant, but my mother wanted it, and, it's Mother's Day, so let's just remember, God-fearing people equals God-fearing mothers. You did what she said. Anyway, I left the cocoon of the kitchen. I closed that louver door, and it hit me real fast. It's dark back here. It's quiet. Nobody will hear me scream. And I crept down the hall to the closet, and I went to slide open that door because we had sliding doors on the closets. And just as I thought of that yellow, green, horrendous, screaming skeleton coming out, and I just froze. I mean, literally, I was frozen with fear. And somehow I managed, through God's grace only, to get that whatever it was she thought she just had to have and run at an Olympic speed down the never-ending hall back into the safety of the skeletonless Christian kitchen. You know, God, I was really believing in God at that moment, I can tell you. You know, I was 8 years old, and 34 years, 61 years later, I still remember that very vivid experience. It was an entire bodily experience. It may sound silly to you, but it wasn't to me. I hope you never, ever have to go through that yellow skeleton screaming at you and chasing you. Really, it was a fear. But 34 years after that, in 1995, I stood in Piedmont Hospital in the Women's Health Center, and I listened to what felt like through really thick cotton as the radiologist told me my mammogram looked like I had a very definite tumor in my breast. 2 days later, that was confirmed, and 2 days after that, I was in surgery removing it. Now, that's not something anybody really wants to hear, but think of this. I was moving to Maui to take my very first church, the only church I've ever pastored. I had resigned my long-held, very secure job and my really nice benefits. My house was under contract. I was ready to move to Maui. This wasn't a phosphorescent skeleton. This was something in the real world I had to deal with. Now, the interesting thing is that it was no phosphorescent skeleton to me. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. You know, I moved halfway around the world to live with people I had met for 2 days and didn't really know, to go to a place that's one of the most isolated places. Hawaii is the most isolated place in the world. You know, wow, what a difference 34 years makes. Now, how can some picture that is projected on this, you know, we had small TVs, small black and white TV at that time, be so terrifying when a potentially deadly, scientifically determined diagnosis is not? How is that? You might say, oh, Susan, you know, you were a child. That was scary, blah, 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 blah. You know, you might excuse it. You know, and you were an adult when you were diagnosed with cancer. Now, really, come on. Certainly you were scared of that. But, you know, I have to tell you, I know people as sane, highly productive, highly successful adults who crumble at the thought of a cancer diagnosis. Somehow I didn't. You know, in common thinking, it is logical to be afraid of a medical diagnosis. But I will tell you, not one of us came here today, to be common thinkers, to be what I call average bears. You know, Yogi Bear would say, better than the average bear, showing my age, but it's still a good thought. And, you know, fear can be a common response. By virtue of being present here today, I can tell you we have separated ourselves out from the vast majority of people in our country and perhaps in our world. We've stepped away from common beliefs. And I want to tell you that where we are is based on a philosophy called science of mind, if you're not familiar. And Science of Mind, which is the foundation of the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, states that there is a power for good in this universe, and we can use it to better our lives and the world around us. We believe that there is a universal intelligence that created all that is, was, and ever will be. And that universe is constantly responding to our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our actions, and beliefs which we may not even know that we hold. Well, that immeasurable power, that divine power, is ever expanding, and you and I, indeed, the entire manifest universe, are its expressions, every one of us. No matter what you think of yourself, I will tell you, you are the child of the Most High, and so am I. I'm going to repeat that. You and I are children and expressions of the Most High, that which we call Spirit or God. Think about it right now. How did you think of yourself when you got up and looked at yourself in the mirror? Oh my God, my hair, or a wrinkle, or, I really should do something with my teeth, whatever. Did you stop and think, I am a child of the Most High? How would your day be different if you started off with, I am a child of the Most High? It's different when I remember to do it. It's ever expanding. And you as its expressions are also available to ever expand. We are made of the stuff of God. Therefore, we have its attributes. I am not all of God, but God is all of me. I am not, you are not, we are not. Everything in this manifest university is made of nothing but God, but it's not all of God. We are the individualized expressions of God. Isn't that a different way to look at ourselves? What if you got up and said, oh, you blessed expression of God to yourself this morning? What if when somebody cuts you off on 285, you said, God bless you, expression of God, however individual and unusual that you are? I've tried that because it's better than what I was saying. And God responds accordingly, and of course I got more and more people to think of as unusual expressions of God. I did. So we are constantly, unceasingly interacting with this intelligence. We are. It's how each of us lives and has consciousness. We have the attributes of this divine mind, and it's always unceasingly, constantly responding to us by creating the events of our life that are in energetic parallels to what we are thinking, feeling, believing, doing. Some of you may get a little scared right now hearing that. Sometimes I remember, oh dear Lord, what have I just done? Really, it's in direct response to the energy that we emit. Because we are energetic beings, and we're giving off energetic waves of ourselves all the time, just as everything that exists does. Now, as we radiate ourselves out through the frequencies that we create, divine mind is instantly responding. It's not every little thought we think, but it's the overall set of our beliefs, the average. I call it not the weather, the instantaneous condition, but the climate, which is the overall weather conditions averaged out that we create from. That is, unless we have a lot of emotion around something, and then it just heightens the energy we're putting off. Now, life-affirming energy yields life-affirming situations, life-affirming events. However, negative energy, this angry and joyless, also creates accordingly. It's something to think about. But you and I are intelligent beings, aren't we? Some of you may doubt it at times, and as I speak today, but we are intelligent beings in an intelligent universe. And it follows that you and I are therefore responsible for what's going on in our lives. Now, I can't say that I am responsible for the war in Europe, but in my life, in some way, I have helped to create that which I'm experiencing. But, Spirit's not up there criticizing me or going, Susan, you silly girl, you didn't mean that one, because I'm going to have to create accordingly. No, there's no condemnation or judgment. Spirit is not personally involved in our lives. And I know, some of you may want to leave right now, but that's the truth. Spirit is not standing around watching, taking notes on what we're doing and thinking, nor does Spirit have a winged legion of flunkies, i.e. angels, whatever they might be, taking notes on our behavior. I used to think that was true. Oh my God, what I just think they're writing it down. I did. That's what we were taught. I could only just see those notes. There's no judgment and no condemnation on the part of the Spirit, the divine, what we may call God. Our lives are created as a response of that divine energy to what we're putting out. There's no big parents in the sky or parent to displease, to have to beg for forgiveness, to have to wonder if we're going to be, what I call eternally, Robert, roasting without basting. You get it? There's no eternal roasting without basting. Such a high energy talk is just knocking everything off the podium. But that's what a lot of people think of God as a big parent. I'm not sure that my mother ever really understood some of the things at church. It's not that she wasn't intelligent, but I think that it was more a framework of her for how to be a good girl, and especially, as she would say, a good Southern lady. I fell far short of the glory of her vision. But it was something you had to do or you were bad. Really. How many of us, let's be honest, grew up with God is like that? Just me? Okay, thank you. The divine mind, God, Spirit, by whatever name called, the Atman, is always creating, unceasingly creating the universe with absolute precision. You may think, well, not when such and such happened to me, but let me tell you, it's happening. If you stop and think about it, that intelligence manifested a universe so mathematically and scientifically precise. And you may be thinking, oh dear God, now I'm going to have to know math and science. But it's true. Mathematically and scientifically, our universe is so precise that if the path of this earth varied by 1 degree out of 360, eventually all life on earth would cease. That's really precise. The odds of a light-sensitive, light-absorbing lens that would focus light on a light-sensitive area connected by nerves to the brain to happen randomly, it's infinitesimal. And yet we are seeing just because of that. We don't have to stop and think, okay, heart beating out, lungs take the air, go into the blood. Let me get my food digested. Oh, Lord, I've forgotten to move my right arm. No, we don't have that. There is an intelligence that's operating through us. So much of what we do, we have no mental awareness of doing it, and yet it's working perfectly. We are divinely designed, and we are created in immeasurable wonderfulness. Did you think of yourself that way? I'm created in immeasurable wonderfulness today, and so is everybody else here, and so is everything. Even the stuff I really don't care for. That's when I especially need to think of that. It's often brought to me on 285, and you have your own places where it comes to you. But we know that we have to stop and remember that Spirit, God, intelligence, divine, whatever name you call it, George, whatever, is always operating in every situation. You may think, not in this one, but yeah, it's happening. Now, part of that perfect design is our inner guidance system of emotions. If you have read or studied the writings or teachings of Abraham, you'll know there's a whole philosophy built around this. Now, we call this maybe our thoughts, our feelings, our intuition, our gut knowing, whatever. But it's there and it's for our use. And we operate through these and all their various expressions, even unaware. You think about it. When you have a situation that you can intellectually work with or emotionally respond to, which wins out? You have to really train yourself not to let those emotions run you. And even as much as we can train ourselves, there are times when our emotions just wash over us like a tidal wave. Now, the emotion we're focusing on here today is fear. Fear, by definition, I'll read this, is a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain, etc. Whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid, a specific instance or propensity for such a feeling. I really don't have to tell you what fear is. How do you experience it? Think about it. Is it your shoulders tighten, your stomach hurts, you break out in a cold sweat, you freeze? We've all experienced fear. You know, we can deny it. We can try and push it down. We can ignore it. We can try to drink it away, sex it away, drug it away, shop it away, whatever. And we might not feel it for that moment, but doing that is not helpful. In fact, it can lead to terrible effects on our physical health. And guess what? All those things still don't make it go away. It's there. It's like a hum underneath everything we do if we are afraid, isn't it? Think of something that's fearful to you, that whether it's logical or not, whether it's a luminous green skeleton screaming at you, or it's the thought of, what if X happens? A medical situation, a financial situation, a relationship, a death, whatever. Fear can speak to us very deeply. You know, we can tell ourselves that we're bad people, we're faithless people because we feel fear. That's untrue. That is a lie. Feeling fear is not lack of faith. Remember, the divine mind is not constantly monitoring your thoughts to see if you need to, again, roast without basting, be punished, have awful things happen to you, a plague of frogs or blood or whatever else come upon you. No. The divine does not know when we feel fear. Energetically, it picks up on it, but unless we're constantly feeling that and being driven by it, it's not really responding to that. You know, the divine doesn't know you and I are someone who is experiencing this emotion. Now, energetically, it's picking it up, but it's responding, but I don't think on an intellectual level, because spirit doesn't care. Isn't that a strange thing to hear? Do you think you're going to hear that in the average morning service today of the world's churches? Spirit doesn't care. God is not personally involved, as I said, you know, as in God knows everything, God sees everything, God knows what you're thinking and feeling no matter what you say. Doesn't it sound like God is a stalker? Really? That would be creepy. I mean, some kids catch on to Santa Claus, I see you when you're sleeping, I see you in your way, and that's for children. But God, when we get bigger, I mean, that's really creepy. I don't think that that is the way that it is. You know, if so, God would be a little unusual, wouldn't God? You know, rest assured that is not the way it is. But we are divinely programmed with a wide range of emotion. There's a spectrum. Fear's on one end, faith's on the other. I think they're the exact opposite of each other. You know, the emotions are neither good nor are they bad. No, they're not. They simply are. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear or anger, disappointment, rage, love, passion, whatever. They're emotions. And they were given to us. But, they simply are. But how often have you thought, I'd really rather live an average life. I don't want to stand out. I'd like to be an average bear. Gosh, I can't wait to be average today. Gosh, maybe I'll even be mediocre and meet my wildest dreams. No. Absolutely not. One of us here again, as I said before, has come here to be an average bear, or you wouldn't be here today. You'd be someplace else with a bunch of other average bears. You would. People are attracted to science of mind because they want to have greater experiences. You and I want to have greater experiences. We want to have expanded lives to see and do and be more. Science of mind teaches us we have unlimited power to put to use and direct. We can use that power for positive, life-affirming experiences, or we can direct it in another way because, God don't care. Really. If so, would we have all the things happening in the world if God was watching everything and if God is a Father who loves us, or as we've been taught, many of us, or in many cases it's called Father, Mother, God, or whatever pronouns God might choose to use, because we know we're learning about all that. No. Science of mind teaches us we have access, and it is unlimited to us no matter who we are and what we're thinking. We have the access whether we believe it or not, whether we know it or not. So why, oh why, does our programming include fear? Couldn't God have just skipped that one? Well, why is there a possibility of poverty and sickness? Is God mean, or little spiritual joke, is God mean-spirited? I thought that was funny. I don't care if you do. Is God mean-spirited? Anyway, it's not punishment. It's actually a gift, our emotions. And you say, oh, Susan, what a great gift loneliness is. What a great gift grief is. Oh, I just can't wait for it. No, that's not it. That's not it. It's a gift because we can use it to understand what we are thinking and feeling. And if we understand what we are thinking and feeling, we are taught in this teaching that we can program ourselves to call in the opposite of that, to have what we want to think and feel. It is normal to feel grief, to sometimes feel anger or loneliness, things that we don't always welcome. Because we are human and we are designed to have a wide range of emotions. That is God-given. So you might look at me and say, oh, so Susan, is sickness a gift? Tell me, what gift did you find in being sick as a dog, can't stand up for 10 days from chemotherapy at a time? How did you just love that gift of being bald, knowing you are blonde as can be? Well, that wasn't the gift. And no, I didn't relish being so sick I couldn't stand up. I didn't like being so sick that I stood up and the room turned black and swirled. I didn't like going out there bald, arriving in Maui to my church bald as an egg. I wasn't thrilled to put toxins, i.e. chemotherapy, in my bloodstream. I wasn't exactly thrilled. If you think I'm white now, you should see me bald. It looks like an ethereal orb floating around Maui because that was virgin skin. It had not seen the sun. Oh well. That wasn't what I considered the gift. Nausea, thy name is not joy. Really. The gift was realizing that I had chosen to lead a very stressful life. I pushed myself to be the best teacher I could be, the most physically fit I could be, have the cleanest, most well-organized house I could have. I had to work full time, go to graduate school and ministerial school. I had to be the best speaker I could be. All the while having a whole bunch of unhealthy and often abusive relationships on top of that. Now, that is not a recipe for health. And I was getting my practitioner ministerial license while I was doing that. You get it at the level of our understanding, and, it came to me, that old adage, you can't be too blonde and too thin and have too many silk blouses. Well, I'm here to tell you can. Absolutely. Proving my worth through what I call perfectionism came at a very high cost. Some of you may know some of that. But the gift was in realizing that if I kept on living this way, I was not going to have enough of a body to operate on and to try to heal. And it became real clear to me, that may sound dramatic, but when you find you have a tumor and that tumor has got cancer cells in your lymphatic system, it's not a joke. And there are many people who started that journey with me years ago, in 1995, that's 27 years ago, who are no longer here. It was a gift to learn that I was not taking care of the temple of my body and my deepest spiritual needs. The message was change or risk death. It really was. I got it. I changed, and 27 years later, I'm standing here proving my belief and telling you about it. Hopefully it will give you something to think about. So I have to ask you, what gift does your fear bring to you today? Think about it. There's something that, kind of gets to each one of us, no matter what it is. We may tell ourselves we are not afraid of anything, but I believe there's something that gets to everybody. I do. Can you and I have the strength, the patience, and the courage to find out what the foundation of that fear is? I did, and it wasn't really pretty, but I really didn't expect it to be. I didn't. We have to get the message of fear, and we have to pay attention. It's akin to stress. And there's two kinds of stress. There really are. There's eustress and distress. Have you heard of those? Eustress is good stress. It inspires us to take action, to be creative, to find new solutions. I imagine that horse yesterday at the Kentucky Derby felt a little stress coming up from the back of the pack. Odds 80-1 that it would never win, and yet there it was, and that feeling of those horses' other breath and the sound of those hooves, it crossed first when nobody said it could. That's a horse. I'm telling you, that's quite a horse. It was a wonderful thing to watch. Distress, stress, fear is debilitating. It is energy depleting. It is life deleting, in my opinion. It doesn't feel good. And yet so many of us have learned to live that way day after day and think nothing of it. It's not enhancing our lives, it's reducing it. True fear by definition is like that old show, danger, Will Robinson, danger. In other words, change course, stop what you're doing, get out of the way, pay attention. Because here's another definition of fear I looked up last night, late in the evening. Fear is an emotional reaction to a specific, real danger. Anxiety is an excessive and unfocused fear that may be triggered by a variety of stimuli. Anxiety caused by stress may persist long after the trigger is moved or arise with no trigger at all. Some of us are living in daily anxiety. It's just a part of our lives. And it's just like a sound you hear all the time that you never notice because it's such a part of you. It's like that fish in the ocean that says, what water? I'm just so used to it, I don't even notice it. That's the way life is. That's reality, we get told. So a lot of what we think of as fear may be anxiety. It may be irrational. You know, even if it's irrational, that doesn't mean we don't feel it. And if somebody says to you, just get over it, you may think about slapping them, but don't do it. Just say, God bless you, you unusual expression of the divine. You know, don't buy into it. Don't let them bring up your anger. We're giving our power away when we do that. What message does prolonged anxiety bring to us? You know, well, let's ask something different. What message does spiritual faith bring to us? Really? You know, faith is at one end and fear is at the other. They're totally different. You can put your faith in a lot of things, but I think spiritual faith gives us strength. It lifts us up. We know that we are always upheld in every situation by the all-powerful hands of God, whatever those hands may come as. A friend, a book, an experience, a bank mistake that sends us a lot of money, whatever. We are always upheld by the all-powerful hands of God. It can be good medical care, wise financial advice, a friend who's always there for us, you know, being a good example of spiritual principles. When you can't remember to be in faith, call somebody who can. I've done that. I called somebody this week and said, I'm really feeling anxious. My spouse missed the last step in our house on the staircase and fell down, has 3 fractures in her right leg that require surgery. She's going in tomorrow and get that fixed. And next Monday, I'm getting a shiny brand new knee. Whoa, I could be afraid. And for a few minutes, I was panicking. How am I going to coordinate all this? And you know, I called somebody who said to me, bless her heart. Really, bless her heart, because it came from her heart. You know, Susan, you don't have to coordinate everything. There's a divine coordinator who's going to take care of this. That was my angel. That was my hand of God speaking to me. You know, anxiety is the result of feeling disempowered and unable to affect the situations and the circumstances of our lives. That's powerlessness, being at the mercy of people or events or places beyond our control. But instead of giving in, oh my God, everything's fallen to hell in a handbasket and I'm in the basket, we can say, hey, this is a call to know something greater. Next time you feel fear, can you stop and think, as strange as it sounds, what's a greater idea I can have? What is a better and greater and more life-enhancing idea I can have? Because God, Spirit, George, whatever name, is going to say yes. And let me put a lot of emotion into it, because that's like fire on a barbecue pit. You know, pouring gas on that barbecue pit. You know, I see it as a call for what my teacher, Ken Schultz, founder of this center, said. We don't need greater things all the time. We need a bigger God. We need a bigger God and understand a greater God that is not to be feared, that does not punish us with plagues, and will not again send us to roasting without basting. Because when fear expresses, what does a faith-filled person do? Well, we can cry and moan and gnash our teeth for a few minutes and think, Jesus Christ, I'm going to die. But personality aside, in that initial reaction, the response in faith comes from a solid foundation that we know we are always upheld, that there is a power within us, an intellect and a divine mind that will guide us to right decisions and right actions and draw in what we need without us trying to have to force everything. It doesn't mean don't do what you need to do, but it means that we don't have to control every aspect to make it turn out right. The frequency of faith that we're constantly emitting when we're in that place is going out just like the negative thoughts do, yet so many people still believe they should prepare for the worst instead of the best. Next time you wake up in the morning and go, oh, gosh, look at what I look like or what I have to do today, you just remember, I prepare for the best because Spirit's got my back. Spirit is, and Spirit is not separate. Spirit. That Spirit within me is bringing to me all that I need to know. I'm being inspired with strength, clear thinking, and solutions. Faith attracts solutions and the resources to dissolve danger. It's not fanciful thinking. That is the truth. I'm going to repeat it. That is not I know what I mean. That is not fanciful thinking to think, oh, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, life is good. Oh, my dear God, I just found out I have leukemia. But the sun is just, yeah, that may help you. But the real truth is when you go into there, not some little flight of fancy, but saying, I know there is something within me that always supports me, that always upholds me. I am made of the Most High. Now, some years ago in California, a minister left his church rather late at night and was walking to his car when a robber came up, grabbed him from behind, and literally pushed a gun into the back of his head and declared with no uncertainty and great force, I will blow your brains out. The pastor was not a large, powerful man, but without thinking, Dr. Tom Costa raised his arms in the air and said, I love you. It gives me chills. This is a true story. He said, I love you. The assailant put the gun down and sobbed and hugged him. That is true. I love you. He didn't stop to say, is this guy on crack? Is he on crystal meth? Is he just crazy as a loon and going to blow my brains out for no reason? He just went into that place because he was so spiritually based that he said, I love you. You know, it's not wrong to feel fear. Spirit created us with the intelligence to recognize danger that's causing that emotion. It has a point. You know, if a bear is running towards you, I think feeling fear is an appropriate response. It's just what we do after we feel the fear. I just read on CNN, there was a man who collects large species of shark teeth that are ancient. He was down in Florida, and he went diving in this river where he knew that these mega shark teeth would be. They're unbelievable, like this big. They're beautiful. And he was there, and all of a sudden he felt something that felt like a boat ran over his head. However, it was mating season, and an alligator attacked him. He didn't know what it was at first. Alligators get very, very aggressive during mating season. And he backed up, and the alligator charged at him again. He did what he knew he was taught to do. Let's back up slowly. Well, it charged again. But he had the faith and the wherewithal to get on that bank and get away, call people. And what he felt moving in the water was his scalp, which was partially dislocated off his head, waving in the water. Now, what did his God-given intelligence tell him later? I am never going to go into the water in mating season with alligators again in water I can't see around. I'm going to not dive alone anymore. I'm not going to be arrogant thinking no alligator will ever come after me. You know, it's not brain surgery science. He used his common sense, which he ignored that day. It comes to us in all kinds of ways. You know, we were not created to live small, contracted lives. Have you ever done that? Does it feel good? Oh, no, no, no. It's awful. We feel contracted. We feel tight. We can feel it physically. There is an ability within us to deal with any situation. That doesn't mean that we're always going to get the outcome that we want. People die. It's part of life. living through something doesn't equal winning, and dying does not equal failing. Living the best we can at every moment, to me, is winning. You know, we can create heaven or hell on earth. Living in fear, living contracted, always anxious is, to me, hell on earth. And knowing something greater and living in faith is heaven on earth, because it is a state of consciousness, not a physical place. Absolutely. Besides that, I know that I'm going to live forever whether I have this vehicle of a body or not. I may not be blonde, which would be a little loss, but you know, nonetheless, I'm going to have a body and I'm not going to live in a bunch of fear. You know, because as a child, I was taught that God was always watching me. People were taking notes, and I was going to be called in front of the entire universe to account for it someday. Any of y'all ever hear something like that? I was raised to believe that girls were fragile. We had to be so careful and not really venture out because things might happen to us. Going on a school trip, God bless her, my mother told me about all the local rapes that had happened. She did. I know she was trying to protect me and teach me, but, you know, she really got irritated when I wasn't all that afraid. She did. She thought I should be more afraid. It wasn't teaching me to take care of myself in the world, although that's what she wanted. It was teaching me I should be fearful, that the world is a dangerous place. But you know the interesting thing? As afraid as my mom could be, as traditional, feminine, you know, 1950s housewife as she was, at times she had the most unbelievable courage. And I'll share this with you because it was something that got to me. We moved to Greece, and we had this house that was definitely not a ranch house. And my dad had just left for work. And I was in there, and we had these doors that slid out, and it was opaque. And just as I started coming down the hall to go to my room for the night, I saw something at the bottom of that door. It looked just like a heel going across. And I froze for a moment, and I thought, okay, what do I do? And I started walking down the hall slowly, turning lights out behind me to make me less visible. And just as I got to the bathroom door, my mother came out from her bath and said, what is it? I said, I think there's someone in the back of the house. Without hesitation, my fearful, anxiety, sometimes ridden mother turned without a second thought, walked down that hall, whipped open the door to my room, looked through everything, and then turned back, and there was a little area there that led to back steps going down, and said, there's no one here. I said, open the curtain. And when she pulled it back, a feral cat jumped out and took off running down the hall. But you know, that part of her that knew she was supposed to take care of her family, and she never flinched. I, on the other hand, was walking very slowly, thinking about what I was going to do, but I was still moving. And I did get the cat out of the house. No one was hurt. But, you know, it's amazing what we can do when we need to, when we go in faith, because I know that's what carried her, because, you know, had it been some large guy going, ha, 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 she might not have been able to do that. But that leering, luminous skeleton from the commercials of my 8th year, you know, it made a big impression. I hated being alone in the house, and I really avoided going in the back because, you know, it might jump out of the closet, chase me, you know. But at that time, I didn't know how to face my fears. I felt vulnerable. I felt powerless to deal with the black and white images of a low-budget, probably laughable commercial from 1950s. Like that time, I guess it was about 1960. So in 1985, I was introduced to religious science, then known as the Atlanta Church of Religious Science, and I came to know a bigger God and a powerful me. And in 1995, when I was standing there 10 years later, hearing that they thought I was moving to Maui, quit everything, and I had cancer, I simply said, I've got a congregation waiting for me in Maui. Let's get on with it. And I never felt fear, I have to say. You know, I knew I was going to be fine. I still have a lot to learn, don't we all? You know, I wasn't leaping buildings with a single bound through chemotherapy, but I was on my way. My fears created a tumor. I learned I better stop living from fear because I didn't want any more of them. You know, I'm grateful for the message, but I could have done without the messenger, I think. But apparently I couldn't because I had refused to change any other way till it got to live or die. You know, I participated in all that stress, and I feared not being good enough, not being lovable, but I don't anymore. My life is infinitely better. Moving from fear to faith, I'm going to tell you, it is very powerful. It's life-changing. And if you would like to make that leap in any area of your lives, there are multiple opportunities offered through this center, online and in person. Just check it out. It worked for me, and I stand here as living proof of it. So I would like to go back to that affirmation from the beginning. Shannon, could you put it up, please? Well, you know what? That's a beautiful affirmation. Let me tell you what really got me through chemotherapy and some of the worst things in my life. Shannon, could we have that slide? I invite you to say it with me. God did not bring me this far to dump me on my ass now. I'm not joking. That's what I said to myself in Hawaii. They told me to use another word. It would sound softer. But I learned what that other word meant, and I said, I'm still saying ass. God did not bring me this far to dump me on my ass. I did not come this far to die and not live my better life. So the truth is wonderful. Let's all get a greater God. So it is, and remember, it's National Naked Gardening Day. From my heart to yours, namaste, aloha, blessed be shalom, ashe amen, and so it is. Thank you.
When he told you you're not good enough, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful, you'll never be enough. Fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. When he told you you were troubled, you'll forever be alone. When he told you you should run away, you'll never find a home. When he told you you were dirty and you should feel ashamed, when he told you you could be the one, the grace could never change. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, love is all I fear. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I fear. Oh, fear, he's a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he's a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. Cheryl Chandler. Yes, thank you so much, Cheryl. Penelope.
So thank you, Cheryl, Penelope. Thank you, Reverend Susan. Let's give them a hand. So now it's time to acknowledge our first-time visitors. If this is your first time at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, we invite you to stand so we may welcome you. Okay. All right, you stand. Well, our ushers have something special for you, a gift just for you, Ellen. So thank you for choosing the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta as part of your celebration today. Happy Mother's Day, happy Parents' Day. We welcome each of you in need of prayer to join the practitioners which will be on either side of the sanctuary. So let's see what else we have there. Now it's time for our grateful giving. We want to thank each of you that are faithfully giving to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. It is because of your contributions that we continue to spread our message of oneness. If you were inspired by the message today, please consider becoming a recurring pledger or give what you can from your heart. All right. So we have several ways to give. One of them is on our website, or you can text to give by texting to this number, 404-800-9467. You may also give with a credit card by using the digital program with the QR code displayed on the screen or on the back of your seat. If you would also to give by cash or check, our ushers will be coming around through the aisles shortly to receive your contributions. So you also have pledge cards. I want you to join me now with the grateful giving affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed blessed to know you and to be in the room with you and with our viewers at home. So blessed, so blessed. We hope you have a great weekend. Will you stand? If it feels comfortable, stand in spirit for sure. Oh, what is that? Come on now. There it is. We invite you to join with us as we sing our closing song. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. Yes, we see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions